Very good morning to everybody. Welcome to this, and I'm going to say a very important session. Why? Well, it's a session that's going to help you in your business elevate your business to the next level. Now, how do we do that? Well, in real estate, we have two parts of our business. There's sales and there's marketing. Sales is what you're going to be doing face to face, having those conversations, doing those negotiations, closing those deals, and really getting all of that hard work under the belt. But then there's the second half of it, the part that we all enjoy and we love doing it. In fact, we spend too much time doing it because why? We go onto different programs and we create pretty pictures, and 4, 5, 6 hours goes past, and then you delete that particular image and you start it all over again. It's all about marketing. Well, we've got the team from Flow, and what they've done is they've actually almost in an ingenious way made our life easier. Click, 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 and away you go. So joining me today, and it is my doppelganger. It is Stuart Hislop from Flow. Stuart, how are you doing today? And thank you for joining us.
Thanks very much, Stu. Yeah, no, it's fantastic to be here. I see there's quite a lot of agents on the call today, so a few of us. So those of us joining in for the first time, welcome, welcome. I think just the point of today is just to show you how easy and convenient it is to market yourselves online, whether you're going to do brand campaigns or market your listings. But we're a very open and agile company. So if you get stuck, if you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to any one of us, and we'll be more than happy to help you going forward.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, Stuart. So I know there's a couple of people that have come onto this call and they're going, Flow, who's Flow? I've never heard of Flow. What is this all about? Give us the 30-second version of what is Flow and how do you actually fit into the real estate industry? Because you're not really a real estate company.
Sure, yeah. So, we like to call ourselves a property tech company in that our two bosses, Gil and Dan, they started out as an agency, essentially, and they were one of the biggest buyers of Meta in Africa when they first started out. And they were extremely successful, and they built up quite a large multinational company. But in that time, they realized that there was nobody who was actually joining forces between the real estate industry and actual online social media marketing. So that's exactly where Flow fits in. Then it started off as being a nice little niche market. And essentially what we do is we've built a portal that all of you will have access to that you can then go in. And of course, we're connected to the likes of property data and, all of those sort of like portals around the world, not just even in South Africa. So we try to make it easily and seamless that all of your listings and all of your information pull through automatically to our system. And then from there, you can easily upload a listing. Your information is there. The price of your information of the listing is all there. So whether you want to post information online on both Instagram and on Facebook about yourself as an agent to get brand awareness, so that top of mind awareness, or you just want to have a lead generation campaign where we're going to be, sending in lead inquiries for a specific listing or for maybe a multitude of listings. That's really where Flow is fitting into the space. So we've been around for 4 years now. We're always evolving. We're always getting new requests for, can we do this? Can we have this template? Is this compatible with maybe these new CRM systems? So we're learning, we're evolving. And as I say, we're growing exponentially. We're now in, I think, 26 different countries worldwide. But South Africa is our home base. And we're thrilled to have EXP with us as well.
Oh, fantastic. So, just giving a bit of an overview here, because this is something that really does blow my mind, because a lot of times when we want to go into the advertising space, into Facebook or Meta as it's known now, we tend to get people that come to us and say, I'm an expert. I know exactly what to do. And generally, when you look at their following and you look at their business, all they've done is they just take your money and they just go click, 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 and they spend your money as quick as you can. Yep. And you mentioned that your founders, they created the biggest account. So they didn't actually just say, hey, we're experts. They put their money where their mouth is. They actually spent the money first and actually built up that business, which I think is absolutely amazing, because now they've got history. They understand the platform. Now, through your journey, you start here in South Africa, now in 26 countries, which is absolutely amazing. But the development, this program or this system, the platform that's behind the scenes, it's evolving all the time. I'm seeing new stuff. So where is it going to? Give us an idea. Let's say, where is Flow going to be at the end of the year, maybe end of the 5 years? What do you foresee us heading up towards?
So yeah, that's a great question, Stu. Thanks. I think at the pace that we're going, we've always tried to onboard as many real estate companies as we like. So we are working with some of the big giants such as Seif and Remax, and of course you guys as well. But as I say, we are going international. So being able to expand on global markets, we're also finding out what is the requirement from not just real estate agents that we're used to and around us, but what is the need from a global scale. So, the real estate market that's in the United States versus the real estate market that's in India or Australia and South Africa is very, very different. So we want to build a company, a software, a platform that is going to be applicable to all agents globally. That is just like a very fun, seamless way for you to jump onto social media and to either market yourself or have that lead generation campaign that actually works. So, whether it is various Popeye regulations for various different countries, who can we target? Who can we market to? What are the regulations? And, how can we get the best performance out of the back end of using Meta? That's essentially the direction of where we're going as a company. So, as I say, we don't really consider ourselves a startup, but the growth is exponential of where we're going, and we're still learning. I mean, we're always finding out new and better ways to do things. I think one of the things we can chat about today is we had a lot of requests for a lot of our agents coming through and asking us, please, can we have an organic post? Just a functionality of where we can post something that is just to our Facebook page so that our friends and family can see what we're doing, not just specifically to the paid advertising of, and the main difference between that is obviously the algorithms of Facebook will determine from a paid advertising perspective who sees and who gets exposure to your ad. As where an organic post is where you just say, click and post, and that just goes to your friends and family. So that functionality has now been built into Flow, and you can actually do that absolutely free. It's just a little value add that we've built onto our system. So all these kind of things, new templates that come through from a head office, we're trying to chop and change things, just make life easier. And, we have our support system on the side. So if there are any questions, queries, we know that real estate agents, going back from traditional values as a specific way of doing things, but moving fast into the digital age, we really have to try and accommodate all of the individuals who maybe struggle with technology a little bit more. And those of us who, as you mentioned, Stu, they do know the back end of Facebook and they are experts and they can do this themselves. Absolutely. Fantastic. We will support you along the way. But sure, I mean, I work amongst our 2 campaign managers. They're the guys who, we joke around about it and we say we keep them behind locked doors because we don't share their little secrets. They're the ones who are going and constantly adjusting campaigns, changing the targeting, changing the interests and behaviors to try and get the best performance out of campaigns. So I'm always learning from them, hearing out some of their problems. How do they find solutions to those problems? So yeah, just an ever-growing and evolving platform that we want to accommodate for a global scale to make things easily and seamless going forward.
Absolutely. One of these big things that I've actually come out of this is saving time, because that's one of the big things from real estate agents. And that's exactly what Flow does for us, is it actually saves us time. And what I absolutely love about this is the evolution of the company. Starting out, well, let's make money from you guys. Let's do paid adverts. But you know what? Listening to the actual clients and saying, hey, guys, organic. Let's see if we can do a few organic posts that come through, because it'll start that momentum and that growth. So I know a lot of the agents are now going, all right, Stuart, this is great. You're talking about all of this. How do we do this? What does it look like? So how do we go and create either maybe I want to build up my brand, or, hey, I actually want to market a particular property. These are the basics that really is going to show you the fundamentals of how powerful this platform is.
So if you're just looking at some of the buttons on the left-hand side here, we've got campaigns, and that's where you should be able to see how the campaigns are running, when's the start date, when's the end date, and some of the figures that are attributed to that. The analytics for all of the campaigns that are running. These would be where you would find your properties in the little section here. This would be like your little inquiries tab. And then the last one over here is just some of the background information about getting your campaign set up, where we're linked to social media and all those kind of things. But essentially, just for today's purposes, I wanted to take you to the campaigns page here, this little microphone. So normally over here, you would have start campaign, and then you would go and have a look at flow fuel and flow brand. The main difference between the two, flow fuel is where we predominantly are going to be creating lead generation adverts online. So whether that is buyers, you're looking for people who are interested in buying property, or sellers, or even if you are an agency and you're looking to expand and you're going to be running a recruitment campaign, that's your flow fuel. And flow brand, the main difference between the two is flow brand normally runs for a month, if not longer. The top of mind awareness, you're going to get a lot greater exposure, if you will, so a lot more ad views, but it's not so defined from a targeting perspective. It's a lot more broad-based. So you get more ad views within a specific area rather than finding those individuals who are ready to buy, sell, or join your team, if you will. So that would be the typical journey of how you would go setting up an ad. You would have your template gallery, whatever it may be. But instead of that, we have something called create an organic post. Now, Stu, I think before I go further with this, I do need to mention, as I said, an organic post is very different from a paid advertising. A lot of our clients come back and they say to me, Stu, I've been running my campaign now with Flow. I'm paying a certain amount every month. And you know what? It's weird that I myself have not seen this online. Is there something wrong? Is the ad actually being shown? And yes, that does happen quite regularly, in that if Facebook or Meta, should I say, the algorithms don't determine you to be an individual who's going to be actually interested in buying or purchasing or selling, whatever it may be, for your actual specific campaign, you may not see your ad at all. So that's the difference between an organic post. An organic post is just something that's static. It's just taking an image of a template with your name and your listing, and it's posted onto your Facebook page. Now, the great thing is then you can then share that, but I just need to make it clear here as well that the organic post is not necessarily tracked and targeted. So the paid advertising, we can say, we've got how many ad views are going to be from this. We can tell you, how many people have clicked and actually submitted a lead. But for an organic post, it's just basically taking a picture of your advert and sharing it on your Facebook page. So it's not tracked, but it's just great to get that exposure and to show your other colleagues, show your friends, show your family that this is essentially what you're doing. If you are an individual agent, I would actually want you to go and select your specific Facebook account set up here. So just as if you were setting up a normal ad, you would have the scroll down account to say which Facebook account you are actually selected to be working for. So it's the page that we are connected to. So normally with an agency, you have an agency Facebook page and you can be selected to that. Fantastic stuff. Okay, so then from there, guys, is if you did want to go and select your property, just as you would, hopefully we'll have all the properties pulling through from Stuart here in a second. So various different properties, whether it is rental, whether it is properties you're selling, choose one that really looks fantastic. So a family home over here, I just go ahead and select that one and go and click the dot. You then can go ahead and say next. So normally now this would be taking you to a place where you would go and then choose the targeting. So, from an age group perspective, are we looking at men? We're looking at women, who would be specifically, who do we want to target for? So again, if you've got a property that is, 5 million to 10 million, then maybe you would want to change the age range from maybe not 25. Maybe it would be better off going a little bit older, whatever it may be. We'd always recommend going for all genders. And then, of course, what it does is it chooses the actual location of where the listing is. So that's Balgeburden Estate, 3 kilometers. But don't get mixed up here, guys, because normally with paid advertising, it's very important to choose the location to where this is going to actually be shown. But remember, for an actual organic post, it's not going to be shown for a specific location. It's only going to be shared to your friends and basically your followers that you have on your Facebook page. So you can just select it there. You don't need to add in any more targeting, so don't stress too much about that. But as soon as you go next, you come to our final page where you would normally be able to set up an actual date range of how long you want your ad to be shown for. And then normally over here, you would have the costs involved. But scroll down to the bottom, and I'll get to the absolute best part, of course, and you get something called post to my page. So instead of going purchase and go live, where you would put in your credit card information on a secure line, you can just go ahead and say post to my page. And then, of course, it will upload it immediately onto Stuart's Facebook page. And then from there, he can then share that and, comment and share that with his friends and family and whatever it may be. And that is, as we say, guys, it is completely free.
And that's an absolutely amazing process to go through everything. And I know everyone was sitting there going, but Stuart, it's coming up with prices. Man, I don't want to spend money on this. But when you get to that point where you can actually say, right, click and post, damn, that is something that's so straightforward and easy. And the great thing is, it actually pulls all that creativity through.
Yeah.
So that is as simple as that.
So it's also nice to play around with that. I mean, for some of the guys, especially if you're new to the whole technology arena and you're not quite sure how you're going to be going about setting up your first ad, sometimes it's really fun just to play around with the free version. Make sure that your template looks good. All of your information is great. You can post this and do this as many times as you like. And, once you've got your feedback from your friends and family and you're ready to say, right, I want to put some money behind this and really get some good leads coming in, you feel comfortable, then you can go ahead and actually post that to, an actual live campaign through the back end of Meta.
No, fantastic, fantastic. And it's a simple process. So I do see a few hands that have come up. We're going to open up the Q&A at the end of the actual session, and we'll pull those all together. So don't forget, write those questions down. We will come back to it and have both David and Stuart available to answer those particular questions. So here's the organic, simple, straightforward. But Stuart, I'd like to actually build up my own profile. And I know that you've got the way of building that brand. Is it the same process that we actually follow? How do we do that?
Very similar, Stu. So I think what I'm going to do, the nice thing as well, guys, is if you ever get to this point of where you do see a summary page, but you're not quite confident of going live just yet, if you go out of here and you click any of these other buttons, it does in fact save this as a draft for you. So you can go back and change it and finish up if you want to. Obviously we know about life, things can get tricky and you might get distracted, but of course it will save this as a draft. So you can always just go back and say finish it when you do have a bit more time and you're feeling comfortable. So that is the organic post. It's exactly the same as setting up a flow fuel campaign of where you would market for a lead generation for campaign for buyers or sellers, whatever it may be. And those are typically, 3 days to 7 days. If you want to go longer, that's absolutely fine. But that's typically what we see, 3 to 5 days or so. But if you did want to actually go ahead and create your own campaign, a brand campaign, very similar. You're still in the same place here, top left-hand corner. There's the little button here, the microphone. So this is where you would see all of the campaigns. You can see some of the campaigns for all of the agents that are actually live at the moment. And we do have some brands. We've got Christine, we've got Johan, Alto over here. So there's a whole bunch of agents that have already gone live with both Flow Fuel and Flow Brand. But let's just go ahead here and I'll go through and I'll take you how to actually set up a Flow Brand campaign. So again, you just want to say start campaign. So instead of going Flow Fuel, we're going to go Flow Brand. And takes you to the top right-hand corner, just so that you are aware between some of the different templates. And this is what I mentioned earlier, guys, is we have spoken to the head office of EXP, and they've given us some corporate approved templates that you are able to use. And you'll see here that there are various different, areas of which you can really promote your brand. So you can say either you're an area specialist. So you know the schools, the churches, the roads, the traffic. So it's always good for somebody moving into an area to speak to a property specialist who knows the ins and outs, the neighbors. This guy's great, go to this person for this if you need that. You have that history of that specific area. Sold stock, I mean, I don't think there's anything better than, realizing that if there's an agent who sold a property 4 houses down from you and you need to sell your property, that's obviously, it's a given that person knows what they're doing and they're familiar with the area. And obviously there's people who trust them for a similar price range as whatever your property's gone for. And then of course we have testimonials as well. Really, when it comes to testimonials, we always ask, I mean, there's a lot of information that are on these tiles here, but just a couple of great words. Susan was fantastic. It's normally a very difficult and emotional thing to sell a property or to move just in itself. Susan made it great, seamless and easy. We really appreciated her hard work. I highly recommend her. That's it. You don't want to get these long templates of where it's too much information to fit into a tile. So if you are going to go the testimonial route, always just recommend short and sweet. So let's just go ahead and maybe try this one. So let's have a look here. So that looks a lot better from a tile that's actually going to work and be posted on social media. So nobody knows. Let's go ahead and just change this and say Bryanston, and buy and sell with the best. It's always nice, if you do want to change it up around and say whatever is personalized for you. But we typically always have these descriptions that come up. It's very generic, if you will. So try and make it a little bit personalized. You can add in these nice little stars or emojis of houses, whatever it may be. And of course, you can say brag situation in the business. Okay. So if you're happy with this, what it looks like, nobody knows Bryanston better than Stuart Hislop. Contact Stuart for expert advice. He may be the Edenvale area specialist, but now we're actually focusing this specific ad in Bryanston, so whatever it may be. But if you're happy with that, you can go ahead and say next. So the main difference again here, guys, with a brand campaign, this is something that we want to run for a long period of time. You don't necessarily want to have your brand campaign go live for 2 or 3 or 4 days, because you're going to get that exposure and then your ad disappears. So we always recommend to go live for a brand campaign for a minimum of 1 month. But of course, now say we're looking for the specific area. So this is important here. So I know in the previous page, we said that, Stuart is an area specialist for Edenvale, but now we're actually trying to get some buyers or sellers within the Bryanston community. So if you just go in and you start typing a specific area, this geo-targeting is linked to Google Maps. So as soon as you put in an area and it pops up there, it will give you a radius for you to choose from. Now, Flow has a maximum of 20 kilometers radius, but that's not generally recommended because 20 kilometers squared is a very, very large area. So if I just say yes for 3 kilometers radius, you'll see now that I've got a nice little circle that is around Bryanston. So if you want to get your branding and yourself as an agent, as a specialist, your testimonial, your sold stock around a specific area, then try and be more focused on residential suburbs. We really don't want to go ahead and say, I want to be well known within the Stanton area. And then you're including all of these areas from Fourways, Douglasdale, Sunning Hill, all the way down. I mean, even if it's Flow Fuel or Flow Brand, we always recommend for you to try and be so specific with your targeting. So even if you want to go ahead and say Bryanston 1 kilometer radius, Fourways 2 kilometers radius, Randburg 3 kilometers radius, really try and get involved with those suburbs, because if you are selling properties of a certain stature, of a certain caliber, of a certain price point, maybe you don't want to be advertising in Alexandra or Cosmo City. But sometimes we have seen this with agents, they just go ahead and say Bryanston 20 kilometers radius, and your ad somewhat does get diluted over time. So please, if you will, just try and focus on a more specific targeted area. We go ahead and we say next. And now, of course, we're going to see the various different options that we have. So with Flow Fuel, you can, as I say, do it for a certain amount of days, whether it's just 3 days or 5 days, or whether we're going to go for a week or even a custom date range. But for a brand campaign, we always recommend that you want to run it for at least 1 month. And the difference here between many other agencies and Flow specifically is that we cannot guarantee you're going to get a certain amount of leads for a Flow Fuel campaign, but both with brand and with Flow Fuel, we can guarantee you that you will have a specific amount of ad views. Their exposure is what we 100% guarantee. So here you can see, depending on how much money that you're willing to spend, if you want to try this out for the first time, light is always great. I think that's what we've seen with a lot of the EXP agents. But if you want to try and get a lot of more targeted exposure within a specific area, you can go pro or elite. But, try this out, whatever, maybe just light for that first month. And we'll then have a look and say, okay, great. Edenvale in the business for 15 years, Stuart Hislop, his name is there, his contact information is there. And of course, once that goes live within the brand, within the actual area of Bryanston, if somebody does click on that carousel, they will be able to actually reach out to Stu, and a little message will go to Stu to say, David is interested. He's got a house to sell, whatever it may be. He's interested in buying within the Bryanston. Please, can you actually reach out to him? But again, the main difference between brand is you're going to get a lot more ad views. It goes for a longer period of time. There may be a situation where somebody might see your ad more than once. We call that frequency within the digital marketing terms. So you never really want a frequency that's less than 2 or more than 3, 3.5. That sweet spot is if somebody sees your ad, they see it again, and that third time they really will take action to actually go ahead and do something about that. But that top of mind awareness, great picture here of Stu, all the information that he needs. As soon as you're ready, you are looking with VAT for 1,092 Rand. You are guaranteed, between 20 and 30,000 ad views. So call it about 28, 27,000. That's what we normally expect. And that is a large number. So, I have a lot of my clients, and we always compare this to, whether you're sending out flyers or whether you're doing bin ads. Digital marketing is fantastic in a sense that, you are guaranteed to get that certain amount of eyes on your ad, on your brand. And then, of course, the great thing about digital marketing as well is it is agile and that you can change your ad over time. So even though if we go live with this campaign and we have Stuart here and it goes live and it's going to be on Facebook and Instagram for 1 month, within 1 week or so, you can go ahead and change the picture. You can go from, having an area specialist from Edenvale. You can then maybe talk about a testimonial of somebody that ever sold or bought a house in Bryanston. You can really, the sky's the limit for this portal, and you can chop and change things as much as you like. The algorithms will always just stick within that targeting area. And as I say, we will always guarantee you those ad views. But yeah, it's really as simple as that, guys. That's essentially the brand campaign, very similar to the organic post that we went live in the Flow Fuel. The only difference is it's just for a longer period of time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Stuart. And so that makes it so much easier for everybody. So we started out, you want to do an organic post. We're real estate agents. We like to do things for free. You want to test it out. You want to see if the waters work. So you can actually go through that process, create that organic post of one of your listings, get it onto your Facebook page that you can start sharing with your family, your friends, the people that have liked you on your particular page. Then you find, hey, wait a minute, this is actually working. I'm getting a few inquiries. You want to start to promote it. You want to take it to the next level while you follow the exact same process and you start to build to get that awareness. Now, it's a great way to sell this to your sellers. Hey, I'm taking your listing and I'm going to promote it out to so many people. Now, guys, I want to thank you. Any final thoughts, comments from yourself, Stuart or David?
You guys have our email addresses. If you get stuck, please reach out to us. We're always happy to jump in and get involved.
So from myself, Stuart, I actually want to thank all of you for coming onto the session. Remember, my final words for today is the future of your real estate. It starts by you taking your listings and sharing it into the metaverse. You guys have a fantastic day further, and I look forward to seeing you in our next sessions. Cheers for now, guys.